Здравствуйте, здравствуйте. Меня зовут Olman, я директор бизнеса в AppSumo. Я не знаю русского, но я выучил всю презентацию наизусть. Поэтому я буду делать свою презентацию на русском. Да. Я не имею понятия, что я сейчас говорю. Это правда. Okay, that's enough for the Russian. I'm not going to torture you guys with my really, really bad Russian. That was fun, though. So I am the head of business development at AppSumo. Over the past 3 years, I've helped launch over 150 companies. So what I'll be sharing today is going to be what I've learned directly from helping these 150 companies launch in the American market mostly. I just want to give a shout out because some of our top partners are actually from Ukraine. Ukraine has a lot of talent. Deposit Photos is our #1 all-time partner. They've done the most sales out of any partner ever on the history of AppSumo. 3 of actually the Ukrainian companies are top 10, including Promo Republic, Serpstat, recently worked with OWAC, StockSfy, Stepshot, McPaul, SendPulse is actually one of them. So AppSumo, we help companies with go-to-market strategy. We help mostly European companies penetrate the US market. I want to kind of get an idea of the audience here. If anybody can go to bit.ly/SaaSpolls and answer the question that is on there. And then what's your biggest struggle with interacting with the American audience? Is it communication, support, or Americans just too difficult and picky? I know we are. Finding American customers, where are they? So it's funny because I actually like finding Ukrainian companies, but I don't even know where to find you. Is there like a Ukrainian product hunt or anything? There's a big disconnect that I found between European countries and American customers. Let me see the last one. And then how many of you are familiar with AppSumo? Okay, fair enough. All right, you can go back to the, awesome. So that just gives me an idea of who I'm talking to. I appreciate that. So why do SaaS companies want to enter the US market? Well, a lot of money is being spent. Americans love to spend money. 30% of $600 billion spent this year is coming from the United States. The big disconnect that I've noticed, though, is that about 65% of our community is American, yet about 80% of our partners are from Europe. And you guys are trying to find each other, and there really isn't like a platform or a way for US customers to find these foreign products that are building such great apps. So I feel that AppSumo does kind of create that bridge, but I want to see more European companies entering the US market. So I'll be discussing some simple things, just common mistakes and best practices when you do want to launch your company full-fledged in the US market. So what I mean by this is just not passively, but it's like, hey, look, I want to specifically go after the US market. So the biggest and easiest lever to pull is your existence in Google. If I search your company, ABC App Reviews, and I don't find anything, it's kind of awkward, it's kind of weird, it's kind of suspect. So something that's very easy to do is adding a macro between your support team and the customers they help. They're helping customers all the time. They're happy. The last email that you send them, give them a link to leave a review. Set a goal of at least 5 reviews a week, and in a matter of 2 months, you're going to be all over Google with reviews. Bad reviews. So people often are scared of bad reviews. I actually love bad reviews. Bad reviews are a way for you to kind of show everybody how you handle bad situations, how you respond to an unhappy customer, how you fix things. So use bad reviews to your advantage. Social media. So if you want to have your presence in the United States, you have to make sure that everything from your landing page all the way to your support docs, all the way to social media is Americanized. So if you have some things in Russian, some things in Ukrainian, some things in English, it's going to be a deterrent to the American customer. Americans, even though they only speak one language, they're very not accepting of like things in other languages for some reason. So they're very picky. If they see something that's like grammatically incorrect or just off, they'll think it's kind of like fake. So social media, before you do decide to go into the US market, I would recommend to have at least 1,000 followers, a lot of engagement. Social media in the early startup stage is more about branding, more so than gaining customers. It's where people go to see like what you're doing, how you're active, so make it entertaining. It doesn't have to be solely about sales. So you in the front, can you tell which one, sir? Can you tell which one of these is the fake purse? It's very difficult, maybe because you don't know Louis Vuitton, right? Well, if you ask my ex-girlfriend, she would tell you it's the one on the left because she knows purses. Sometimes things just feel off, feel different, even though it looks the same. So that's how Americans kind of see websites that are probably grammatically correct, but they don't have American slang or American wording or vernacular. Like, for example, this right here, for like 2 years, I thought that Russians just had a problem with the keyboard. Like, I was like, why do I keep getting parentheses, right? And then I realized, oh, it's a smiley face. So, it's the little things. Americanizing your site. For example, Americans don't use postal codes, they use zip codes. If you tell an American that the webinar starts at 1600 hours, they're gonna be there at 6 p.m. They don't do the math. Language, the language you use. So this is a support ticket that we got, and we got many like this. And it's when Russians and Ukrainians use the word tariff. So tariff, I guess, Ukrainians use it commonly. It's what, like an upgrade, higher plan, or, kind of like a payment that you make. But to Americans, that's like taxes, oil trade, like what's Trump doing now? So it's a very negative connotation. So I would definitely stay away from using that word. The fine print, you never actually want to call it the fine print. You call it your terms of service. Fine print sounds sneaky. So yeah, updating your site is just the first step. When you think about Americanizing your content, you want to start all the way from your site, all the way to your support documents, your social media. Anything that a customer will interact with has to have consistent tone and a voice. So I saw that a lot of you have your own copywriter that you use, or a lot of you actually write the content yourself. So that's okay, but I would definitely at least hire an American editor, somebody that's US based. That way they can take your content and repurpose it and make it more Americanized. So again, have them proofread everything from your drip campaigns all the way to your support documents. I like to find copywriters on Upwork and scripted.com. Scripted is a little bit more expensive, but their filtering is really good, and the candidates that they have are top-notch. We found a lot of our freelancers from Scripted. So action items. It's not just about going out there and hiring a copywriter or hiring an editor. You want to make sure that you set them up for success, and also so you don't spend a lot of money going back and forth on edits on anything that they write. So you want to create a standard operating procedure for them to follow, something that anybody you can just kind of grab, plug and play. When you decide the voice that you want to have in your tone, you want to make it like super friendly. So Americans, they are exaggeratedly friendly. Like if you ask Steve, Steve's grandma died this morning, and you ask Steve, hey Steve, how are you doing? He's be like, oh, I'm doing great, Olman, I'm doing fantastic. And it's like, no, you're not, Steve, your grandma just died this morning. But that's the way Americans are. Whereas if you ask, for example, Vlad, who won the lottery this morning, kak tila, he's gonna say, normal na. So there's like, big disparity. Same thing with positivity. You ask an American, hey, how's your meal? They're gonna be very descriptive. They're gonna be like, oh my God, it was so fire. It was delicious. It was like tiny ballerinas of flavor dancing on my tongue. You ask the same question to a Russian, or a Ukrainian, they're going to say, it was not bad, you know? So my rule of thumb is that if you think you're being friendly with Americans, you're not. If you think you're being too friendly with Americans, you're being the right amount of friendly. And use GIFs. Americans love GIFs. So in order to set up your copywriter for success, you want to have a brand book. Again, you want to make sure that all your communication channels are uniform and following the same tone of voice. So you want to kind of tell them, do's and don'ts, what your customer profile is like. So, like I said, we hire a lot of freelancers. So this is a sample of what we give them. We give them our mission statement, who we are, words we like, our tone of voice. And this part I like is, who's our customer? So a kind of a brief description of what our customers like, what they do. So this gives the copywriter that you hire, automatically hits the ground running because they kind of know and feel what your company is like. Selling and pitching in the US. So another thing is when you have validation, which is the reviews that you display on your site. Americans are going to relate more to a John and a Frank leaving a review, more so than a person, a foreign person. And the reviews that you choose, don't pick a review that says, like SERPstat is great, it's amazing, I love SERPstat. It's more like SERPstat helped me because it did this, it saved me time doing that. Something that's very actionable and about benefits. Make your landing page mom-proof. So what do I mean by mom-proof? Can you tell me what this business does? Let me scroll down a little bit. No idea? So a lot of times creators, because they're so embedded in their own product, they make the mistake and assume that everybody understands what they do. There's been countless times that I'm visiting sites and I'm just looking, scrolling, reading. I'm like, what do you guys do? You have all these features, but what is your product? So I call it the mom test. What I do is that I'll call my mom and I'm saying, hey, check out this site. Do you know what it does? And if she can't answer it, chances are most people can't either. Also, too much focus on technology and accolades. So Americans don't care how clean your code is, how smart your AI is. They just care that it works. They don't care how it works. Feature overload. So how many times have you seen the features page and it just has 1,000 features? My favorite feature is integrations. I'm like, okay, integrations, that's a good feature. Support. I'm like, that's not a feature. Everybody should provide support. So when you have too many features, what ends up happening is that it causes confusion. Maybe all I needed to use this product for was 3 or 4 things, but now that I see a million things, I'm like, wait, maybe this tool is too advanced for me. Also, it could actually reduce value. So a lot of times founders will say, well, look, I'm charging $99 a month because look at all the features I have or I'm providing. But then I'm like, I don't need all those features. So maybe I'm paying too much because I'm paying for all these features that I don't need. So I would recommend to pick your persona, the kind of customer you're going after, and then showcase 3 or 4 main benefits that these features have. And the extra features, let them discover it during onboarding, in help docs, via support, or whatever. If any of you guys are trying to pitch companies in the US, whether it's for a partnership, whether it's for funding, the best way, it's very obvious, it's an introduction. I get maybe 50 cold emails a week. I remember Eugene from SERPstat had submitted a couple applications to AppSumo. I never saw them. It wasn't until Max from Promo Republic, he calls me up. He's like, yo, Olman, what's up, man? I'm like, what's going on, Max? He goes, yo, I have this dope app for you. He doesn't actually talk like this, but I have a really dope app for you. It's SERPstat. I have to introduce you to these guys. I'm like, set it up. The next week, we were talking. Great. Now, Eugene has referred to me about 10 other companies. So go on LinkedIn, see who you have in common, make a connection. A simple introduction is going to get you in through the door rather than a cold email. Find the right product market fit. So oftentimes people make the mistake that they have a certain customer in Europe and they try to go after that same customer in the United States. And if that's your game plan, it usually doesn't work that well. Recently we worked with this company called Publitio, and they are like an AWS alternative. And their target market in Europe was developers that wanted to save money. And I thought that that was kind of like a weird segment to go after. It was very small. After they ran a promotion with us, they discovered that they had a ton of marketers that liked their product because it was simple, it was one click, easy integrations, and they saved time. So now their target demographic is marketers that want to save time. So Americans value time sometimes even more than saving money. So if anybody is actually looking to move to the United States, I don't know why, because Kiev is beautiful, it's cheaper. But if you do, I would recommend going to the East Coast. That's where Amazon just relocated to. It's a lot cheaper. The West Coast is very expensive. It's 3 hours more of a time zone away, 5 more hours of traveling. If you do relocate, you want to keep your engineering at home and move marketing and sales to the US, and you want to have the CEO, at least for the first 6 months, setting up and creating the team, because essentially you're going to be creating 2 separate businesses. Just so pretty much summarize, if you want to hit the market running, Americanize your site, make Americans feel like they're at home, and offer world-class customer service. Americans are very forgiving of bugs and issues with your product if your service is amazing. That's pretty much it. So I have some gifts for you guys, for the 50% of you that, let me see how many it was. So for the 48% of you that know what AppSumo is and the 17% that kind of know, I'm going to give everybody in this room $50 to use in our store. This is not like a promo code. This is not like a buy one, get, no, it's like I will add $50 to your account. So visit bit.ly/nation, enter your email and your information, and then you will get an email with Neville's copywriting checklist. So that's our original copywriter that kind of gave the voice of AppSumo. Links to use to find the editors that we've used before, a sample of our brand book, a growth study, and lifetime access to KingSumo. So KingSumo is one of our products that we use to grow our list to about 1 million people. So it's $99 a year, and I'll give it to you guys lifetime access because that's what AppSumo does. Thank you.